Hello, PCOC kids and families. Happy Good Friday. Today is a day that people all over the world are remembering the death of Christ. We're remembering Christ's death today because in a couple of days we're going to be celebrating the resurrection of Christ from the dead. So before we can really appreciate his resurrection, we have to spend a little bit of time remembering his death, because that is an important part of the joy of what's coming. So Jesus died on a day in 2,000 years ago. He died in a city called Jerusalem. He died on a hill right outside Jerusalem where many people had died in a very similar way that he did. Now, we know that Jesus' death was not that different than a lot of people's death, except for the fact that he did nothing wrong. He did nothing to deserve it. And when he went to the cross, he was perfect. Now, it's very interesting to think about how similar the sacrifice of Christ, which covers the sins of people for all time, is very similar to the sacrifice of the Passover lamb, which Jesus celebrated the week of his death with his disciples. And it is amazing when we sit and consider how at the time his disciples didn't quite know what to make of all of this. It was hard and it was sad and it surprised them. They didn't know. Even though Jesus had given them lots of hints and lots of clues, when it came time for Jesus to actually die, it was a very sad thing. They didn't understand. Now, once it was over, they could all look back, and then they said he did say he would become raised from the dead after 3 days. They said he did tell us that all of these things would happen, but when they were in the moment, they didn't know that. And so the day that Jesus died was a very, very difficult one for his disciples. Not only the 12 disciples that had been with him, but people who had worshiped him, his mother, people who had listened to his teachings and had really believed that he was the Son of God. This was a very, very difficult time for them. And as they experienced Christ's death, as they heard about it maybe for the first time, it was a very sad, difficult thing. So as we prepare for the resurrection, I have a challenge for you. Now, your parents may appreciate this or may not, but here's your challenge. One of the things that we want to do in preparation for the excitement and the joy of resurrection is to spend some time thinking about the sadness and the darkness that occurred during the couple of days before he was resurrected. So here's your challenge. What I want you to do is I want you to use whatever you have in your house to create sort of a tomb. Remember that Jesus spent 3 days in the tomb before he was resurrected, just like it was prophesied and just like Jesus said he would. But there's inside your tomb, you can make it with blankets, you can make a blanket fort, you can do it under your table or in your bunk bed. Make a blanket fort or some kind of a space that is dark, that you can crawl inside with your siblings or maybe your mom and dad, because tomorrow I'm going to have a different assignment for you as we think about the waiting time between Jesus' death and the time that he was raised from the dead. And so today, I want you to build a really great fort of some kind that you can spend a little bit of time thinking about Jesus as he laid in the tomb. You can enjoy it for other things in the meantime. But today, you work on that. And if it's okay with mom and dad, we're going to leave that up for a couple of days because we're going to do something with that tomorrow. All right, there's your assignment. I'd love to see pictures of it or let me know that you did it. And we will be doing the same in our house, okay? So remember today, Jesus died, but there's good things coming. So in order to be able to appreciate what's coming, we want to take just a little bit and remember his death and what happened right before all of the good things. Because this death was very important. Without the death, we don't have the joy of resurrection. Okay? All right, let me know how it goes. I can't wait to hear. I miss you guys. Happy Good Friday.